All right, everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode of Resident Evil Resistance Interviews. Tonight we have Dominic1517, also known as Dom. What's up, Dom?
Hey Ether, what's up?
Shit, how's it going?
Doing pretty good.
So we're gonna start with the first question. Who is your main survivor and main mastermind, and why?
So my main survivor is January, and honestly, ever since like the game came out, she was the character that interested me the most. Like, I just love the idea of a character that's like directly affecting the mastermind, like playing mind games with him, making him have to, you know, um, you have like a special bond that the other survivors don't have with the mastermind. I think she's a really cool character, like especially like back when the game first came out, they only had like high cal. Um, I always used like instant, like it's really funny like when you hack a camera and you put an orange skull on their screen and see how people react. She's always been very fun for me. Like I don't know, it's like when I was younger, I did like chess tournaments, so kind of reminds me of that, trying to get ahead of your opponent. Anyway, for my main mastermind, it's Annette, but I don't know. I just, again, ever since launch, I really like just setting up a room with just a horde of zombies and just watching survivors try to kill all the shit. Like I don't know.
All right, that's cool. Once RE3 dropped, what brought you to Resistance, and did you try the beta?
So I didn't play the beta, but I remember after I was all done with like the RE3 campaign, the reason I bought the game, I didn't buy it for Resistance. I had no interest. When I was done playing RE3, I about a week after the game came out, decided to give the game a shot, like Resistance, I mean. I just remember playing like FF7 Remake when that first came out. I think that was like April 10th or whatever. And I was like, Resistance isn't going to be around forever. I should probably give it a shot, see if it's any good. I did pay for it, I guess. So, I mean, I don't regret it. I had a good time. I think that was a good decision.
All right, in your opinion, what is the best squad of characters to have for a team? I already know it's the girl squad, Dom.
Yeah,
I
sure.
prefer the girl squad over everyone. So,
yeah. So for me, I used to be on board with the beta team. So the first four characters on the roster: Val, Jan, Tyrone, and Sam. I thought that was the way to go, and I thought, that's a very strong team. It still is a strong team. Currently, I'd say for like a while now, I'm just so on board with Alpha Team though, which that's what people call it, like Val, Jan, Tyrone, and Jill. I mean, I guess you could do like Sam instead of Tyrone, I guess, but I prefer Tyrone. It's like that team to me is just perfect. Like you have damage for creatures, you have cam pressure, you have everything you need to fight every mastermind in the game, in my opinion. I just don't think there's a better squad than that. It's not too creature focused or cam focused. It's like, it's perfect.
okay, Dom, was there anyone in particular that inspired you to be better at the game and improve or change your style?
So very long time ago, when the game still got updates, I remember finishing a match with Seisminato. I remember this dude was just, he just sent me a nice little paragraph or whatever. He was like telling me like, oh, you did a good job that match is Jan. He's playing like Buffnet or whatever. He said something like, you're starting a trend of me wanting to find good Jans in the community because you did so good. I don't see good. He was like, I don't see good Jans, like rarely, like rarely ever. So I remember that kind of being something that gave me a little bit of motivation to stick with Jan and try to get better at her. Then there was also, I mean, at some point I was maining Jill. I still played Jan, I played Becca, even played Sam, but at some point I did swap over to Jan like exclusively, and played her like 90% of the time. And I think a reason for that is my OG team had some match with Alucard back in the day. Again, when the game still got updates, and this dude got bemusement with Trap Alex, and yay, no Nullify and no Jan. Like, that was really kind of an eye-opener for me, that even though Jill is really good on cams, I felt like, you know, you kind of need a Jan for her hack, her ult, things like that. I think that was like kind of told me, like, you know, on my old team that I needed to be Jan mostly all the time. There were some things that I would change, because like when I started, you know, I was like high cal, bargain bin, bunch of economy equipment on my character. I decided to change over to like anti-arm at some point, mostly because I just run into some masterminds, like to name a few, like Linque, Wolprez, Paulo Henrique, even Pep, like when he was my opponent. Some of these masterminds to me were just, for a solo high cal Jan, they're too fast, man. Back then I either needed like a Jill on the team or anti-arm. I needed something. But the way we were playing, for me, it just wasn't cutting it. So I remember talking to Ranger's old team, his OG team, and especially Dark, and I remember just wanting to make that swap to anti-arm for my team. At that point in time, I'd still think it's fine. You know, it's just, to me, it's like a very good swap, changing that passive. And as far as like the other passive, I remember, you know, also talking to Dark about Pharmacy for the longest time, but I never really saw any reason to swap over. I tried just going without it for a while. My teammates would run first aids on the team. I know at some point I dabbled in bargain bin with a spray on my equipment, with my team having them too. But at this point in time, I really feel like Pharmacy is just better than what I had before. So I remember eventually made that swap to that passive. So yeah, I guess that's about it. I don't know.
Okay, do you play this game casually or competitively, Dom? Sweat or non-meta?
So when the game first came out, I definitely would consider myself very casual. But, you know, ever since, I'd say like the last update or so, I have been very competitive in this game. Like, I don't think anyone can deny that. I do a bunch of customs, and whether I'm asking for them or people are asking my team, we've always tried to get better at this game and learn something. I find that very fun.
Have you ever felt this game is too one-sided, more in favor of Survivor or more in favor in Mastermind?
Again, was still getting updates. I always thought that the game was so so Mastermind focused, like, or sided, I mean, because like when Nikolai came out, that was just ridiculous. Like, I quit the game for like a week when he came out. That was disgusting. The damage that he would do, the turret tracking, the range of guns. That was a really, really bad time for this game. And I think a lot of people just left the game when they saw that. Like, I remember when Tether Spencer first came out, for me, that was another thing that really upset me. This is before I main Jan, so when I play other characters, it doesn't feel good. Like, sometimes my team or solo queue or whatever, we wouldn't have a Jan or whatever, and not everybody knows how to deal with that build. Like, yeah, at that time, like, I mean, some of the builds that would come out over time, you know, really, you know, were annoying to me. Even at launch, like Buffing It or Endurance Daniel, I thought that was too OP. Or Auto Shield when that first came out. But, you know, nowadays I view everything a lot differently. I would say the game is mostly Survivor-sided. But the thing is, it's only really Survivor-sided when you have a good team. Like, if you don't have a good team that doesn't know what they're doing, it's gonna seem like it's Mastermind side. Once you have the knowledge that you need to defeat a build, you know, the game's mostly a Survivor playground. So that's how I currently view the game anyway. There's some builds like Nikolai that are just still really, really fucking OP in the right hands. So stuff like that is very Mastermind sided. But the majority of builds, especially creature builds, survivors just like walk through that stuff nowadays. So, yeah.
What's your best memory of this game, and who were you with when it happened, Dom?
I'd say very long time ago, I remember my old team facing Swing Point. I remember fighting like his Buffinet. I just remember like the reactions this man would give on his stream when when Snake was like, but the team was Snake Eater, Twisted Gamer, and your rival Painakatsuki. So I remember this man on stream was just freaking out because Snake was running Tyrone with like elusive and USB and just zipping through fucking entire hordes and stunning all this man's zombies and doing terminals like right in front of Birkin. And I remember like I just remember like skill costing this guy, and then he just sits in one of the core rooms, area 3. He puts a zombie through skill cost, he puts one vapor on it, and he's just sitting there like looking at his cam like, wow. Like he's like what do I even do? Like I remember that match being pretty funny to me. Another one I'd say that's kind of memorable would be facing Ranger, I guess. I think it was like December like 2020 or whatever. I grouped up with Pep and Adrian and Dark, and I remember fighting Rangers, like I think it's Infection Alex on Prison and Trap Alex and Terminal Spencer on Bemusement. So all his meta builds at that time. I remember that being like really sweaty, especially the Trap Alex one, and we barely even made it out on that one. But I remember that being kind of, a good memorable time for me. Like I felt very like accomplished when we actually did beat him all the matches or whatever. It felt like to me like I was like actually doing, like I was actually doing good with Jan. I was actually playing well at that point. I was learning something, getting better. I saw improvement in myself. I thought that was actually pretty cool.
All right, what are your thoughts on the Resistance community as of right now, and why do you still playing it, Dom?
So about the community, it's there are a lot of cool people in this community. Very nice, chill people. Very accepting people. And then there's some people that are just, well, unfortunately, very toxic or go out of their way to like harass others. I don't know, man. I really love this community, but there's some people in it that are not the friendliest, that's for sure. I don't know. I think it might be because the community currently has kind of shrunk in size a lot. The people say it's a dead game because it is, and the problem is the game has become very personal, very tribal. I don't know. That's kind of an interesting thing because like when the game actually was getting updates, like it wasn't like this. Like, the game had a lot more people. Not everybody knew each other. Everyone was like a stranger to each other. It was a different time. The reason I still play though is I would say just to get those either customs, sweaty customs, or sweaty quick matches. I don't really enjoy fighting babies anymore, or just like anyone that doesn't know what they're doing, because I'm usually squatted up with a good team. I really just enjoy the game nowadays when we get some mastermind that's actually like really good at the game. It's always a fun time when, it doesn't even have to be a meta build. It just has to be something that's something they're running that's like actually putting on pressure on the team. And usually that's pretty fun for me.
Well, Dom, how would you change the meta of this game? What would you add or remove from it?
Just in general, I would probably remove a lot of the things that take away like player freedom. So like things that don't allow the person playing the game to actually control their character. Like when I see an immobilizing shot hit somebody and they can't move and they just have to spam X to get out, I don't really like that. I don't really like air cannon smacking people on the floor across the map. They can't do anything. They just get up. And you have to wait to get up. Things like Contagion, where it just gets spammed. Mastermind just presses the button, and then a survivor is puking for like 5 seconds. You can't do anything. There is no counterplay other than just eating a blue to not get infected in the first place. Like I've never really been a fan of those things in this game that just take away control from the player. And honestly, I feel like the worst thing they ever did for this game is probably when they added Nikolai to this game. I mean, it adds variety and it's something different, but so many people left this game because of that guy. Just especially like when he came out, it was just broken damage and tracking and stuff, and it was like a turret game. When like they nerfed him a bunch of times, they nerfed him so much, and they added like modified gear, and they, instead of like trying to kill survivors, the game became about not feeding time to survivors instead, and time pirating and stuff. And it's just the counterplay to time pirate Nick, any build that, you know, has mod gear on it essentially. I've never really I still, even after all this time, I'm still not really on board with their decision to add that. Like, I feel like if they ever were to like change something about this game, that would be something that I think is very important. Like I think that was a big mistake. Like, everyone likes fighting creatures, I think. As long as the mastermind playing them is actually good and knows what they're doing. And I like that, you know, how cameras actually, some of the things they added, like the cameras affect the creatures, or you know, but the time pirating with the guns is just that's always been kind of a problem, I think. Some of these builds that just don't feed back time. Ruin solo queue, they're very hard for teams to beat too. It's I don't think it's the greatest game design in the world. Probably try to revamp that, if anything.
All right, just for fun, the final question, Dom. Which player is the best with that particular survivor? So we'll start off with the best Valerie, in your opinion.
I don't know. I'm not trying to upset anybody if I miss someone's name or, you know, whatever, but I think for Val, some of the best survivors I've seen are probably people like Cody, Dater, Ren, Dark, Adrian, even Pleb. Like, I'd say the thing about Valerie though is, for me, it's not just like, oh, you're really good at nullifying Trap Alex. Like, that doesn't make you a good Val. That means you have a skill. You know what I mean? But to be the best Val, I think you need to be good at looting. You need to be good at scanning, like hordes of creatures, cores, whatever, bioweapons. I think because we have vaccine, I think you need to be very good on infection. Also, you have to stay with the team. You need to know when to push, how to keep yourself alive, put your remedy down at the right time so your team doesn't snowball. You know, and then yeah, of course, like nullifying traps or whatever, and then even like pulling off a clutch when it's needed or something, whether it's a first aid or a remedy, without getting yourself stun locked and killed or whatever. I think for me, even though I think he's not the best with any of those things, or maybe some of those things he is the best, I guess. But for me, I think the best Valerie for me is probably Ren. The guy just does everything pretty well. I can't really complain. I guess best Jan.
Yeah, best Jan. I want to know who's the best Jan now.
I don't really usually say anything. I don't have. It's just the way my brain works. I don't have the most confidence in myself all the time. I just don't say I'm best Jan, but I guess for probably the first time, I'll probably say I do think I am the best. Like, I mean, if I'm not the best, at least on PlayStation or whatever, I think it's gotta be Scooby. Like, this man is like, it's like very, very good on cameras. For Jan, I feel like it's not even just like a lot of people. I feel like think that for Jan it's just cam builds and stuff, or just like Nikolai or whatever. For Jan, I feel like to be the best Jan, it's like very important to have an answer for all the builds, for every single build in the game. And I think there might be some people in this game that might even be better than me on like actual like gun builds. But I mean, I don't know, dude. They might struggle with like other things. So if it's not me, it's probably Scooby. And then I'd say like honorable mentions that are also really good Jans are people like Kara, Nick, and Dark, even Ninja, like pretty solid Jans. Might have forgot somebody. I don't know.
All right, and best Sam, in your opinion?
I gotta give that to Pep for sure, 100%, because this man, every time I'm on his team and he's playing Sam, he kills all the shit. Like, you don't have to worry about a creature build for the most part. He knows when to push, he knows when to back off and wait. He knows on a gun build the same thing for the most part. The guy just knows how to do his job too well on like every build in the game. So he's not the best on cameras, I'd say, sometimes, but it's enough. It's enough for what we're going up against, in my opinion. He's not a Jan main. Yeah, I'd say he's probably the best. I mean, right under him is probably it's probably Cody, Snake, and French Reaper, I think. French plays interesting with Sam, though. It's not your typical Sam. It's more like a gun Sam build, so that is a little different, but he's very, very good on cam builds with Sam. A little less so with creatures, in my opinion. But Cody is very good at both sides of the spectrum. Snake is a little weak on cams too. I mean, it's funny because like, Sam is not meant for cam builds, but you can still be good at juking or whatever. Like, even though your character is not made to fight that build, to counter it. For Tyrone.
Yeah, best Tyrone. Who do you think?
I think for the longest time, I always thought it was Adrian. Like, this man, very good at his shouts. Like, he's good at his kicks at door games and everything. Like, he can almost consistently kick a zombie through a door when they're door jockeying. He's very good at it. When we had like USB tie, man was pretty damn good on terminals too. But nowadays, I think I might even give it to Pep now. Nowadays, like, I know he's not a Tyrone main or whatever, but I think he's like greatly improved with Ty. I don't think he's the best with his kicks, but I think a lot of the stuff he knows about the game and just in general from playing Sam kind of carries over. So I'd probably give it to him, honestly, as well. Pep again for Tyrone. I mean, again, Snake's pretty good, but cam builds. So I don't know. There's people that don't. Well, hold on. For like Tyrone, there's even like people like Roxy that were pretty good when he still played the game, I guess. Even Jared now, not too bad. I don't know. I'm trying to think who else plays Tyrone. I remember a long time ago I used to play with Savage King all the time. Like, he was the best Martin I saw. Like, Martin main, I mean. I don't know. Nowadays, I think I would say I've seen some pretty cool things from Kai when he would play Martin. He didn't play Martin too much, but when he did, I think he was really good at it. As far as other players, maybe like, again, probably Adrian. I think Adrian is probably one of the most interesting people in the community because this man can play literally every character on the roster, essentially. So he's good with pretty much everybody. This man is like really good with a lot of characters. But I feel like even for Martin, you either with Martin, you're either doing like flashy things to counter like creatures, or you're doing like bulletproof and you're trying to do USB Martin or whatever. And um, best Becca.
Best Becca now.
This is a hard one. Who could it be? I'm gonna say True Evil easily. Next question.
Why are you throwing though? Why are you throwing though?
No, that's the answer. You know that's the answer. Come on now.
Wow.
Don't lie to yourself.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Best Jill.
So I think for me it's Scooby. I really do. This man, his cam pressure, his dodges, he can play damage Jill, USB Jill, just flip like that. I think it's probably him. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. I mean, I've never really had more synergy with a Jill on cams than him. Like, we actually think exactly the same most of the time. Like 90% of the time, we're shooting the same exact camera, like at the same time. It's kind of creepy actually. So I probably got to give it to him. And then as far as like synergy and stuff, like right under him, it's probably Adrian again. When he does play Jill, he's pretty damn good at it too. Actually, I'm just gonna say like right under Scooby, I'd say probably Adrian, Ex Nihilo, and IDK are like all like tied or whatever for me. Like they're all just so good with Jill. I guess my my favorite is probably Scooby because of how well we can sync everything together. There's probably some other Jills I'm forgetting. I feel like I am, but those are the ones that come to my mind right now.
All right, Dom. Any final statements or anything you want to say?
Oh yeah. Fuck flashy thing, Martin. Please remove him from the game. Forgot to say that earlier in the interview. That's what I would remove. Fuck that guy. My poor hordes, man. Do you know how many times I'm playing a net and I just want to have a nice little horde with 4 fucking buffs on them, you know, so I can actually like, you know, do something with my creatures, and then this man comes along and says no fun allowed, just ruins everything. Like I don't know. Every like 90 seconds or less. Like I don't know. Sorry, Martin, mate.
All right, Dom. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.